If you've been online lately, you've probably noticed something. Well, every time you search for anything, like running shoes, a new recipe, maybe just the weather, ads for the exact thing follow you around for the next 2 weeks or year or decade, which is especially annoying when it was supposed to be a gift. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking, who is watching me right now? That feeling? Well, that's exactly why DuckDuckGo built a whole browser around it. Not just a search engine anymore, a full browser built for the person who's done being the product. And the moment I heard that, I knew I had to put it through its paces and give you the real breakdown. Welcome to GBRLIFE Reviews, where I test the tools, platforms, and systems so you don't waste your time, your money, or your energy. Just mine. Now, let's keep this review party going by getting right into it, right after my quick intro, while you like and subscribe, or just skip ahead using the chapters, because that's what they're there for. I even put them in the comments below. I made your life easy. Go click on it, and don't complain that there's an intro. Okay, go check it out.
Welcome to GBRLIFE. We'll talk big love, everything in the mix. So bring your boys, your bride, your home now, babe. This is GBRLIFE. Ooh, this is GBRLIFE.
So what is DuckDuckGo Browser? Well, most people know it as that search engine where your privacy-obsessed cousin, friend, coworker won't stop talking about. Yeah, that one. But in 2026, it has officially become a standalone browser. And it's available on Mac, Windows, iOS, and Android. And it comes loaded with built-in privacy tools right out of the box. No extensions to install, no settings to dig through, no PhD required. The whole idea is simple. Browse the web without being tracked, profiled, or followed around by ads that somehow just know you were talking about whatever you were talking about out loud. Which is why I think everything to myself and I don't say it out loud. Okay, we all know that's a lie because I talk a whole lot. That's the whole reason we're here. And speaking of talking, let's look at DuckDuckGo while we're talking about it. Okay, here we are inside of not DuckDuckGo. We're here inside of an entirely different browser that we're not talking about, so I'm not going to tell you what it is. But I will say that you just go to any one of your browsers that you're currently using and being a total traitor, you traitor, and saying DuckDuckGo, and then it'll allow you to go and find the wonderful installation, which is just downloading it to your computer and making that happen. And then you go to actual DuckDuckGo, and here it is. This is it, DuckDuckGo. I pressed download, and then I was like, open it, and then it came up. Remember, how do we do this for anybody who's new here? We go through your pros, your cons, your pricing, and then we discuss a GBRLIFE rating because it's fun. Because I get to rate things, and you get to decide if that rating is actually good or bad. And then you get to tell me in the comments how right I am or how wrong I am. And I'm okay with that. And you know why? Because this is about you. This is about what you want. And I think you might want DuckDuckGo. You may not. I don't know. Let's look at it. Let's find out some of these pros. The fact that it's easy to download and easy to go ahead and press a hey, open. And then as you're doing that, it's like, hey, do you want me to import a whole bunch of stuff from your other browser that you were a trader about? And then you're like, yeah, sorry. And then it was like, it's not a problem. It's cool. I'm cool. We're friends. And so then you download it and you say import, and then it brings all your stuff over. And I didn't actually import anything because I also use Brave. And I'll get into the cons as to why I may or may not have a favorite, but anybody who knows how much I love Brave knows and understands that. But DuckDuckGo is awesome. Why? Because first and foremost, they've got AI. Yep, you can ask things privately right here. You also have that search. Same old, nothing has changed. Plus, you have tracker blocking. Yeah, so when you go to your different things and you're like, I don't want to deal with this anymore, it's so annoying. You're not wrong. It is annoying. There's a whole bunch of ads and stuff, and I'm going to prove it to you. When you watch the beginning of this, I showed you a screen record of kind of getting everything set up so you can get a little bit of an idea of what DuckDuckGo was. So when I did that, I actually went to GBRLIFE because I wanted to show you that when you go to GBRLIFE, I try to steal your data. No, I'm just kidding. I don't steal anything, but I do, of course, have ads. Most of us do with websites because of Google AdSense. And from going on here with DuckDuckGo, you're able to see right down here, because it will give you a protection report, which I personally think is a good thing. And it tells you that it blocked 12 tracking attempts on my website. Plus, just in general, other things. I don't know. I was just pressing buttons. Let's get rid of that one. Okay. But so you can see right here that I removed 12 tracking. I didn't remove it. DuckDuckGo did that. Okay. It did. But then it gives you the opportunity to do a free email and cookie pop-up management. So what does that mean? It gives you privacy without a headache. It gives you fast and clean interference. It gives you just AI that you get to talk to and not have to discuss what you really mean in a therapy session because your therapist wrote it all down and you're like, oh, we got to talk about that again? Fine. No, because right here, look, it's your private AI therapist. That's not what we're all using it for? I'm pretty sure that is what we're supposed to. But if not, you can bring your stuff over and import this on DuckDuckGo. You can make this your default browser. You can protect your inbox by getting that email protection right here. You can do YouTube without creepy ads. And you can unlock the premium features. We will go through the pricing, but you have to be patient. And you can also add your favorites. You can just type that in, or it will automatically bring in that favorite list from when you did your import. And so, let me cancel that. The other side of this is that, of course, you can change your background and all that stuff. I just can't remember exactly where that's located right now because I'm really awesome. More tools, settings. There we go. So if you want to go to general, you can change how you look at things. You can look at your AI features, accessibility, but then there's that appearance. You can do light, you can do dark, and you can go through with system. You can also customize your background, data clearing, duck player. Who says data and who says data? I always want to say data, and then sometimes I say data, and then sometimes I say data. And then you also have your passwords, sync and backup, advanced, and DuckDuckGo on other platforms, which shows you that it works across devices. Yeah, you can have this on your iOS, on your Android, on your tablets, essentially. It works pretty much everywhere. Okay, so let's go to YouTube. Okay, and let's see how it actually works. Try searching something. I mean, should we do it? Should we just go for it? You're right. We should check out GBRLIFE. That's what you meant, right? That's what we're doing. Because GBRLIFE is everything. And we go over here and we say, let's go to the one from last week. I have turned on, or I could turn on Duck Player to watch without targeting, without the ads. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the player. And here it is. Okay, so it did bring it up in as the whole thing. So it doesn't necessarily allow you to watch or be able to see all of the other videos and stuff to the side. But now I know I'm going to be able to watch this entire video. I didn't even log in. I just went over here and I selected me because I'm awesome and that's all I want to see. Okay, it's all I want. I just want to look at just me forever in GBRLIFE and then be able to watch completely ad-free. I mean, I feel like that's pretty cool. And that's basically what you get from DuckDuckGo as a positive. Essentially, what it is just you being able to do this everywhere without having to work on anything and just live. And nobody's looking at what you're doing or tracking you or any of that kind of stuff. You can also open the Fire window. Details. Okay, Claire. There we go. And this is one of the other, that was the Fire button. And that basically allows you to be completely private. That's the word. It's not free. Private. You're a private person. I was going to say entrepreneur, but that's not right. Let's see. Can I go over here? Okay. Summary, nothing. See that? Nothing. Nothing, 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 because it doesn't exist because you're doing everything privately. Search privately, ask privately, and then do all the other stuff. And that's what it brings you. So that's all it is. Now, is it simple? Yeah. It's simple because it's the whole point. You're supposed to be able to browse without worrying about it. Now, what is bad here? Now, I didn't go into extensions, and there's a reason for that. Because this is not Chromium. So it's not going to replace your Chromium users because of those people who live inside of Google. I may or may not be one of them. Don't hate. You can hate. It's fine. It's not fine. But when you use Google and you have all those extensions, they don't work unless it's Chromium. So no Firefox to be able to do that, and no DuckDuckGo. It's not going to work. And then also, because this is very aggressive with your ad blocking, you notice how it had to do that with YouTube. It brought you into its own thing. So it is very aggressive on how it's tracking and blocking your sites. Like, so for example, if I go over to, we have to know it's GBRLIFE. You had to know. But if I go over to GBRLIFE, right away, 3 trackers blocked. And we knew that because of the last time, and I showed you before. It did allow this pop-up to come up, which is great. But not one ad is on here. Not one. Right? Look at that. The ad is go to gbrlife.com. But that's it. You're not having to deal with any ads coming up whatsoever. That's both a good thing and a bad thing, because if I were to go to your local, what are those things called? Local station for where you get all your local news and things like that. Normally, they are powered by a lot of ads. And so they'll come up with things like your ad blocker that's like, hey, you can't look at this article unless you remove your ad blocker. I'm trying to think of a good example of this. Okay, so while this is not exactly an example of an ad blocker, this is basically the same way that it would come up. It would show you that this right here, it would say you can't continue unless you remove your ads. But I will say also, when I went to the local website for my local channel, local network, local stuff, local, how many times can I say that word? Let me just go to it. And I am in the DFW area. And so because of that, normally I actually get the ad blocker on other things. But here I'm actually able to go through and look at a lot of these things. But then it's funny when you see how much it actually blocks from this. It is, the last time I went on here and it said about like 13 immediately. It was blocking 13 ads. I was like, what? Wow, that is a lot. So it is trying to block as much as it can, but it is also trying to help you get into it. It is aggressive, though. It's very aggressive because you're not getting any ads. Look, there's an ad right here. I don't even know what it is because it won't tell me, because the whole point here is that you're not bothered by them. They're not looking at you, and you don't have to look at them. Local news. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. Local things, local stations. I was trying to say local. So the other thing here is that while this is really great to be able to go through without dealing with ads, it's not great at syncing. It's one of the reasons why I wasn't immediately trying to do that. If I go and try and sync, it wasn't even giving me an option to go and look at what I actually use. So I was like, okay, no, but bring it in from here. And I was like, you mean one of these other browsers that we know about, but not any of the other ones? I don't know what you use. So I would have had to use another browser that I don't actually use to sync everything. I'm sorry, to bring it all over and then sync it across all of the devices. So yes, you can absolutely use this across devices, but if it didn't even bring it over to this very well, it's obviously not going to bring it across the rest of it, which is very different from what you get from something like Chrome or Safari. You're going to be able to, thinking about Google in particular, you do one thing in one location, you go into your phone, and it's like, it's right there. It's like, oh, we're doing it here, right? That's what we're going to continue doing because you don't ever leave us. Don't ever stop doing anything within our ecosystem. Everything is here for you. Don't ever leave us. And it's like Hotel California. You can check in anytime you'd like, but you can't leave. What do you mean leaving? That's no. You can't leave Hotel California. Listen to the song. That's what it's about. Well, it's not about leaving a hotel. So listen to the song and then you figure it out. But let's just say it's a great song. I love the Eagles. Okay. Anyways, so now we're getting into what does all this cost? Nothing. It costs nothing except for you could pay for VPN and premium features. Let's look at that. Okay. So over here, you can get a secure VPN plus private advanced AI, and you can get that for 7 days for free, or you can pay $9.99 a year or $9.99 a month. They always say that. They always do that, right? It's always $9.99. $9.99. Psychologically, it actually works. That's why they're doing it. And that's basically it. Now, what do you get when you use their specific AI model? You get the opportunity to work with OpenAI, ChatGPT, or Anthropic, Claude. That's my favorite. I love Claude. It's so great. It's so wonderful. I'm a fan. And that includes multiple versions of GPT or of Claude. And essentially it just shows you kind of the differences of what you get for free and a subscriber. And literally it's those chat models. And there's a reason for that, because at the end of the day, those already cost a lot of money. So they're not going to foot the bill for you. They're essentially saying, if you want to use that, stay within here, use our AI. You can continue to work with that. It's completely private. Yes, it's still private when you do that. I know. Are you excited? Me too. Me too. Yeah. I'm not going to do it on here. I'm just saying you should be excited too. Either way, this is where we discuss the next part, which is we know what it costs. It's not a whole lot. You can completely use this for free. So knowing that, is DuckDuckGo even worth using? Look, it's a new thing in 2026 to have DuckDuckGo as its own entity. It is no longer just a search site. You can go in there. You can live your life in the DuckDuckGo world. And this is just the beginning. Let's be for reals. This is just where they started with everything. It's no longer just for the tinfoil hat crowd. And I say that with love, because I would totally wear a tinfoil hat. I've never done it, but I've thought about it a few times. And it's a genuinely good, genuinely fast browser that happens to come with privacy baked in at every level. Is it the fastest? No. It does its best. It does its absolute best with the fastness, but it does a great job with privacy, at least with ads. I'll say a great job with ads and keeping you very private. Now, it does have the AI option too, which is pretty amazing. So if this is where it's starting, where could it go? And that's the reason why, for the GBRLIFE rating, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Because in my world, I think that the conversation is really starting to shift. People are waking up to what their data is actually worth. And tools like this are going to keep becoming more relevant, not less, in which you keep your data safe, in which you decide what other companies actually get to see about who you are. The whole point here is that you're your data, and that's the new currency, you. So do you want to allow everybody to know what you're worth for free? Is this like the new, scarlet letter? What type of browser we're all using? I don't know. But I know that you have found out about DuckDuckGo and you have the opportunity to change your life and not use that anymore. Or use DuckDuckGo. What am I saying? Not use those other ones anymore. Or you can be just like me and dabbling in all of it because you're like, ooh, I'm going to have a little fun today. What data are you going to keep for me today? What are you going to steal today? Either way, that's it for this week. And I want to hear from you. Are you ready to make the switch to DuckDuckGo, or is Chrome still your ride or die? Maybe you've already been using it, and maybe you want to tell us what you think. Why don't you drop those thoughts about DuckDuckGo or any of these new browser and AI tools? They're not AI, I'm sorry. Or about any of these new browser options that allow you to not have to just use Chrome anymore. The world is your oyster. I never really understood that, though. Is it because it's a pearl? Or is it because oysters? Isn't that the one that does? No, that's a clam. That's a clam. Why oyster then? Tell me about that in the comments below too. But either way, that's it for this week's review. And remember, you can keep this party going with the companion blog on GBRLIFE.com. The link is in the description and the comments. And as you know, if you want more honest, no-fluff breakdowns, check out the rest of all of my reviews on the GBRLIFE Reviews playlist. And my last review is already there on GenSpark AI. Is the AI super agent actually worth your time and money? Find out when you watch that one next. And always remember, with everything on GBRLIFE.com and my fabulous Mama Koala clothing line. Yeah, you know you want to check it out. You do. It's not all koalas. It's fun for the entire family. Just koala inspired. Okay, it's not on every single outfit, I promise. Go check it out. Either way, you don't have to be without GBRLIFE in your life. Now go watch another review or check out the companion blog. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!